Hey, Dennis,
What's happening?
Chris,
So
Tony.
me and Milos, we were both fucked up after the Olympia.
Yeah.
Sick as a dog. I don't
Me
know
too,
about you.
man.
Were you sick too, Chris?
Yeah. I
Man,
still got a,
Yeah,
still
me
got a little
too.
bit of wheezing.
we filmed the podcast last Tuesday and we were already talking about coughing. Tuesday night, it was full on. I was sick until yesterday.
You guys too. I got the same thing. I come home, I felt like I had asthma. You know, I was wheezing. I think
Yeah, I
it
was
was
wheezing too.
all that secondhand cigarette smoke in the casino, man. It was bad, you know.
Yeah.
Still got a little bit of nasal going.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I mean,
I had three COVIDs in three Olympias,
yeah,
so
but you had COVID. You tested positive for COVID, right, Milos?
yeah.
I tested for COVID every day and I was negative.
Same,
This was
but
the worst.
I felt like I had it.
This was the worst flu I've had in my life. I don't think I've ever been this sick in my life.
Good.
COVID was easy.
Good Lord.
Hey, Melvin.
What's up, man?
Oh, Melvin got nasal too. God damn it.
Yeah. So anyways, I was just talking to Chris regarding I told him that I have to go to Germany next week because my dad's going in for spinal surgery. And Chris, you just mentioned that you had the same surgery. Tell me what did they do?
Yeah, so the first generation of those machines that people use on their muscles and all that stuff. First generation, this guy was trying to help me. I wasn't even hurt. And this was after everything I've been through before. I haven't had a surgery yet, but he put that on my spine, all the way up and down my spine. That thing was like pretty rough. And it was like, the surgeon's like, don't ever let anyone put anything on your spine, from here on out. Like that's it's gonna ruin your spinal cord. So he was like, after that happened, like 3 days later, I needed emergency surgery. Like the first hospital I went to is where I was born, and they were like, acting like they couldn't really do nothing for me. I was just in a lot of pain. Went home. I went there in the ambulance, went home. Then my brother's like, get back in the ambulance, go to another hospital because this is not right. I couldn't lay anywhere without being in so much pain. So when I got to Eisenhower in Palm Desert, I thought it was just another routine stop, and they were like, you have to get a surgery. You have to get you have to get a surgery on this situation because you're going to maybe be paralyzed or you're going to be, using a bag to use the bathroom for the rest of your life. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, because I was thinking it was something I could do when I'm older, And he was like, no, you say you can't leave this hospital. And I was like, well, I got to get ready for surgery right now, like out of the blue, So they didn't let me leave, and so once I woke up, I couldn't feel my legs, and I couldn't I'm like going like this, trying to feel my legs, feeling nothing.
So you thought your legs were asleep?
I thought they were done. I thought I was paralyzed. They had to. I'm pressing out the nurses and shit, and I was like, man, I was messed up. I thought the nurse was trying to kill me. You wake up on all that anesthesia and you're just like all thinking all kind of crazy stuff. But then they had brought the priest in there praying on me. I thought I was done.
You thought this is it. So now let me.
But then when they started wanting me to get up and walk like right away, they didn't want me just laying in bed. So just little steps here and there, but my foot was turned to 9 o'clock. My left foot was turned to 9 o'clock. My right foot was 2 o'clock.
I don't mean to laugh, man, but
it messed me up mentally. Think about that. I was like,
so how long was the recovery before you got up and be able to walk, leave the hospital?
Oh shoot, maybe about a week and a half.
So now think about my dad. He's 83.
Yeah, so the probably going to be prolonged, it's not going to be easy, because it's like you feel like, you feel, relief, you're not in pain anymore, but, recovery from trying to walk, trying to train your foot to turn back and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff.
Maybe he doesn't have. Maybe his foot's not going to go to 9 o'clock. Who knows?
Mine did.
We'll go to 6 o'clock.
Oh, dude, shit.
So Melvin, you're the only one that really didn't get sick since the
You
Olympics.
sick?
I'm not about to get sick, man. I'm immune to that bullshit.
You hear his voice?
I'm immune to that, boy.
Talking right out of your nose right
No,
now.
my voice is like this because I
know
was
you sound weird. Stop it.
my voice. I don't care my voice is like that because talking about that day tequila. Do that to you.
Yeah,
every
you
time.
sound weird.
I was about to say you might have had a long night last night.
You sound
Right.
weird. Good and weird.
You're weird. You're just bad because I don't get sick like y'all. You guys,
Tell me.
I keep my body alkaline, man. I keep my alkalinity up, and I know that disease, bacterial infection, people don't. I do my stuff the holistic way. I don't let my body get all out of whack.
You talk like
Everybody
that.
around me that caught COVID, catching colds and sneezing and flu and all that bull crap.
Now you sound like one of them charlatans, man.
You sound like you tell it.
You know what? Charlatan, shikaton, shake a leg, whatever you want to call it. Man. I ain't getting sick like
Tony
y'all.
and Melvin, we last week we had our first podcast since the Olympia, and we talked a little bit about the Olympia a lot. You both were at the Olympia. Tony, you were backstage.
Yep.
Now, give us your experience because you haven't been there in 3 years.
3 years, yeah. I really missed it.
What was it like for you to come back to the Olympia and witness everything real close up backstage and doing interviews and so
Man,
on?
it was a little overwhelming just to be there, and to be welcomed back so nicely by everyone. You kind of worry that you've become irrelevant in 3 years, and everyone was coming up and saying,
"That can go real quick."
Right? Yeah, and you're aware of that, and everybody just made me feel so welcome, and a whole lot of you guys was shit. It wasn't the same without you here, so I was like, oh, good. I'll just step right back in. And, I loved it, man. I loved every part of it, except for Planet Hollywood, sitting around there, you and I had a couple of catch-ups, and I think it was the air in that place, man. Like, you don't see daylight for 4 days. You're breathing all that, whatever the fucking air is in that place is something up with it. I think that's why we all came home. I was actually a little bit sick before I left, and I never get sick. And I came good. And then when I got home, man, I could hardly breathe for like 5-6 days. It was terrible. I'm just coming good now, and but the whole experience was fantastic. The last one I went to obviously was at the Orleans, which was a real dump. So I think the theater itself was fantastic. The Zappos Theater. The backstage was a little crowded, but it's always my little, but it's always for me been my favorite job or favorite anything I do is doing interviews at the Olympia because I've got no pressure. It's not my show, so I can just be in the moment and just get right into it, man. So I loved it.
Chris, you've been backstage, right? What would you compare that backstage to? I would say I don't know. I don't remember the name of the show, but in Culver City.
Culver City.
That place was way.
Yeah, it wasn't huge. It was but it was
way too
dark light.
They had to literally step.
It was probably 25% of what we had, at the Orleans. There's no not a proper gym to pump up, and the light was really funky. Like every picture.
If you compare it to Orlando, where you haven't been, I mean, there was so much space.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
They had a whole gym back there in Orlando, a whole setup.
Yeah, that was the thing for me. It was small, it was crowded. The light was really funky. It was just kind of. I think every picture I posted, I had to do some kind of filter because it was just blue, and it was the noise. There was no barrier to. It was actually shaking at times from the speakers and stuff. So I think obviously you've got to work with what you've got, and I think the producers did a fantastic job with what they had, and the stage looked, from the audience point of view, you wouldn't know any different. But to answer your original question, man, I loved every minute of it. It was so good to be back. Yeah.
We also had Melvin back at the Olympia for the first time since when?
Man, 19.
Yeah, and of course, you know, as you guys know, Melvin, he acted like he was never gone.
Man, it was so fun for me, man. I thought I was a relic. I ain't gonna lie. I stepped up in there and people tapped me on the shoulder and turn around. Melvin, I'm like, oh man, the beard didn't throw you off. Hell no. I know who you are, Marvelous man. What's happening? So it was the welcoming was great. I had a great time. I was like kid in the candy store. I was running around, popping around, shooting nonstop. I had a good time, you know.
Yeah.
The athletes, the fans.
Melvin would always be the same. Let me tell you, when he was in jail, right? I got a Facebook call. I said, "This is Melvin." I said, "That's not Melvin. It's impossible." I click and there he is, just like that. Fucking talking like there is nothing, you know, in the middle of jail.
I had two phones over there. I had two phones. I was watching everything the whole time. I watched the Olympia.
Oh
sitting
boy.
on the rack.
Oh boy.
Sitting in the bottom room.
You know
Come
what?
on,
They're gonna
man.
watch this. They're gonna watch this.
I
and
know. I
not-
was like,
not
who's
give it up
listening?
again.
I was calling people out the blue. Yes, I was.
Hang on, let his dog out.
Melvin, so you had full-blown internet?
I had internet, Wi-Fi, and had
So
some of the
you could have you had you porn and all them porn sites, everything.
everything.
Hey.
I was watching new movies and streaming, bro. I was streaming series, man. I don't watch stuff I don't even like, man. Come on, man. Watching Jonas Brothers series and stupid dumb stuff like that.
You
Watching
should
the
do
movies
the
come out.
YouTube live, man. You know, from
I
there.
had YouTube. I had it all. Yeah, man. Shoot, come on, man. Police bring it in.
Hey, but I have to tell you something really funny because Tony, did Sonny ever told you about my guest posing at a strip joint in San Diego? No? Okay, I think it was 93. And I asked Melvin last time and Chris, because I heard you say it in the podcast, I wasn't there, that you did pose, you know, for girls and all this shit, right?
Me?
So I never did.
Chris
In
posed. Chris posed. I actually stripped.
Okay,
Vegas.
that's even further. But let me tell you, just this fucking guy. I had a girls' night out, guys, in my gym, and they say, hey, you know what? Owner wants you to pose. It's okay. You know, I was charging normally 4,000 at a time. I say, okay, I'll charge him 3,000. It's like 5 minutes away from my apartment, right? But I've never been to the, you know, this kind of joint. I had no idea what to expect. And I'm bringing Sonny with me, right? So I just thought like, okay, it's a normal guest posing. I'm just going to do my thing, you know, collect my $3,000 and fuck off. So the guy goes like, okay, listen. And they were announcing on the radio, there was the posters and all this shit. So they took me back door. I didn't know why, right? And then hey, when do you want to play your music? When you're on the stage or when you're, you know, behind? She said, you know, might as well behind. So I'm going to walk on the music. That is just laughing already. Hey, listen.
No.
So they start my music. I could not fucking hear the music. This ladies was screaming like a fucking thing. Hey, the first step I made out of the curtain, about like 200 of them fucking chased down at me, man.
What was it? What was it? A strip club or was it like a
it's a girls' night out in San Diego. It's
like a male strippers.
Male stripper, yeah. Male stripper. And
I have never.
What?
How much tip did you make?
Truth, Milos.
I mean, first time in my life, I was fucking afraid of the woman. It's not that one or two or three touching you. There's 200 trying to, you know, rip you apart.
Yes.
And fucking security was dying laughing, you know, and I'm looking at Sonny, help me. And Sonny was just like falling like nobody did shit. Man, I literally had to be like this, like, you know, and walk off. They did not, you know, that was girls are 100 times worse than men.
Hey, Milos, I was trying.
What?
Did you finish your routine?
The first it was like you know, 15 minutes commotion, and then the security, you know, started front and they did it.
But
But let me tell you, there's nothing I expected ever.
Women are crazy, aren't they?
Was there any
women are crazy?
Women are crazy. What do you say?
Was there any penetration?
See,
well, there was a contact.
The way I did it was,
man, let me tell you,
it was a challenge. You know, it was a challenge. Like Chris, you remember that girl? Was it Tina? What was that girl's name? Frank Alexander's girlfriend. Remember Frank Alexander? Frank Alexander was an IBB judge, you know, NBC judge. Judge be coming up. She's like, you know, I need some money, man. I need some extra more money, man. I'm going to give me another job because I got to, you know, I'm chasing this bodybuilding thing. And it was right after, you know, I had met Chris. I had been with Chris about a year and a half or something. It was right after the cow. I had told Chris, I'm going to go down to I didn't tell him what I was doing. I told him I'm going to go down to LA with a old girl. And she's like, yeah, you need to go to this club, you know, just check this club out. So I walked to the club, walk in the place, and it was, again, women everywhere. And I'm thinking, you know, women behave because men go to clubs. You got to sit on your hands. You can't touch the girls. You got to do, there's criteria. Man, women don't give a crap. So see all these girls up in there screaming and going crazy. And the lady was like, who is this? He's like, oh, this is my friend. You know, I want to come and try him out for your club. She looked at me with a face like, he too big. You know what I mean? I was looking at her too big. You know, it's like muscles. Can you move? And to me, that's a challenge. I was like, what do you mean, can I move? She was like, well, you know, yeah, if you want to try for my club is elite down the damn right track, right? So I was like, well, shoot. She said, well, I tell you what, give me 2 songs. If I don't make money, you know what I mean? You don't have to hire me. I said, but if I make money, me and you split the pot and you hire me on the spot. She was like, cool. She's like, Darren, go get him some trunks. She gave me some trunks, gave me this little old thing with a little tassel on the end. I'm like, man, this ain't nothing. This is like pose on stage, right? So she said, what's your stage name? I was like, I didn't have no stage name. So I said, Flex. Told him Flex. I got my ass on there and got up on that song Bump and Grind. By the time I got my shirt halfway off, that money was coming up there like rain. I was like, I started being pop locking and moving and gyrating, man. Them suckers. I had that whole club going crazy. I got done with that one set, $1,100. Hell yeah.
I made money at Crazy Horse too in Vegas.
Hell yeah.
When I took third in Olympia that night.
Women don't behave though,
Hey,
man.
money, boy. Straight
don't behave. But hey, Tony, man. Tony got that Australia thing going, man.
I never make no money in no strip club. I always spend money.
Well, all the girls left the guys and came up on the stage. So I was
that part. I know one thing. I know them dang Australian fans, man, are crazy, Tony, man. That was the best, craziest trip, man, I ever took, man. Tony started to introduce people.
Tony would stand on your table and shit and
yes,
scream
sir.
for everybody to come over there and get in line.
Now, Tony's bodybuilding crowd is radical. They remind me of like New York fans.
Stand on top of your table.
You know, it's funny. It's funny. I was talking to Chris and Dennis at the Olympia, saying that you know, those early Australian pros, it was the best fun time of my whole life. You know, like
so many people, and they're radical.
You know, we're just doing so much with nothing, and you know, I wanted you guys to come back, so you know, we'd have the break after the pre-judge and set you all up on tables to sell you pictures and everything. Shit, Melvin done got a queue, so I'd jump up on the tables. What's Melvin Anthony? Come and get a picture right now. He got a special on it, whatever it took. And you know, we wouldn't even get a break between the pre-judging and the finals because those fans were just crazy. You know, yeah, man, we had a good time. We had a really good time, and I think for me that was the highlight of the Olympia. Was honestly just seeing you guys, all of you. It was, you know,
yeah, we loved you guys.
Little things for granted,
especially your dad, man. Your dad was crazy. Your dad used to crack me up. When your dad used to get pissed off, that was the funniest shit ever.
Your dad, he's still going.
Your dad would lose his shit.
Hey guys, what was the best about Tony's pro shows in Australia?
I'm gonna tell you.
I think the best is
one thing. What was the best?
The way you get taken care of, man.
That part.
The barbecue.
The barbecue. That's what I'm saying. The barbecue. The barbecue. Hell yeah.
When you come out, when you come out of the airline and you getting zipped right to the gym and everything's there from everything. I don't know. Everything you need is right then and there. You go right to your hotel, just right into your rhythm.
Yeah.
Let's ask Tony and Melvin what they think of scores, judging. Come on, Tony.
What, at the Australian Pro, it was always
just changing the subject.
Trying to change that subject.
I didn't ask you, Tony, afterwards. I saw you before, but not after. What did you see?
Tony was backstage. He didn't see much.
Yeah, no, actually, I did get to come out and watch the routines and the top 5 stuff, and at the pre-judging, because The interviews I were doing were kind of on the spot. So for once, it's kind of lost my spot interviewing the winners, where I'd always have to wait till the end. So I actually came out and sat in the audience for I think all the best parts. The pre-judging, look, it was a really interesting Olympia. Some people bought it and some people didn't. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Rami's, Dennis, and when we met at the bar, like the first or second night I got in, and you showed me the video of him 5 days out, I'm thinking, shit, he's going to be first, second, and third. This is going to be a race for fourth spot. And then honestly, when he walked out, it was a little underwhelming. Something had gone wrong with the condition in his legs. He wasn't as full as usual. I thought his side shots were really good, but his front shot, back shot just didn't pop for the amount of muscle that he's got, and I think he's like a fine-tuned, thoroughbred racehorse. He got to be right on, and 5% either way, and he loses himself, and I knew he'd get better from Friday to Saturday because he always does every year, but it just wasn't enough. And then your guy, Samson Milos, I think was probably, I thought, in the back shot, he was the only guy that could stand next to Rami size-wise. And his back double bicep, he was ripped and dry. And I know when I spoke to you, Milos, you said there's always a problem for him getting condition. So I thought he was a big surprise with the conditioning that he bought, particularly on Friday night. I thought he was the most outstanding in that top 5 because I hadn't seen him before live on stage. I was, shit, he's even better than I thought.
Milos, was he better than you thought he would be?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm asking Milos.
No, he was as I expected actually, but to clarify when you said that condition, no, I was particularly saying about his thicker skin that would leave impression of less conditioned. This is that one thing. Even leading up to the show, like if I would see some guys, Nick Walker, I've seen in the gym, and you can see the super thin little skin, and you can see through it. And Samson, I knew he's not going to have that, but he has just that beauty of everything: size, width, thickness, shape, nothing missing, complete physique. So yeah, I mean, I was announcing that he's going to be top 4 many times because I believe in Samson. It just would he get a chance for that first call out? And then when he gets a chance, how is it going to be next to Hari that is fucking polished and fibrotic everywhere, right? Derek, we saw him last year from behind, ripped to pieces, striated top to bottom, right? Nick Walker, knowing that he's going to be a condition freak, this kind of thing. So I knew our strengths. I wanted also for Walt to see how big actually he is, how complete and how big. I think that Samson put now himself in contention, to win Arnold Classic and to be, top 3 Olympia next year with his presentation now. I'm sure he's going to get some feedback from the judges, what he needs to improve. But no, Dennis, was I happy? I think also because of 4-hour backstage wandering, it affected everybody, so I was kind of afraid, if he's going to flatten out. And apparently he texted his wife backstage that he couldn't get the pump. It was like, oh shit, so there was that concern. But Samson, being Samson, he can be flat as a board and his chest look like like your Dennis's, you were known for it. But anyway, thank you for saying this. Listen,
let me finish because you'll talk all fucking day.
Yeah.
I told you, Chris, this is what you have to do with him. You've got to shut him down. Give him a minute to stop. So back to that, Milos. So I was expecting the guy to have thick skin, and he didn't. That was what surprised me the most because obviously I've been watching him, and I thought, well, after talking to Milos, he's going to have that little bit thick skin. And his double bicep from behind, he had thin skin, man. That's what surprised me. The other guys, I've not seen Nick Walker live before, and I thought, he was a little bit straight up and down, maybe fridge-like. So I was surprised he actually had a taper, and when he hits his shots, he's got everything. And this guy's got that what I call the mindset of a champion. He's like like a Branch Warren. Someone who maybe not so genetically pleasing, but nothing's going to stop him. So, I was impressed with him. Lunsford, I always thought was going to be the wild card, after that Pittsburgh posing. I thought, shit, if this guy brings it, he could be, well, I was thinking top 5, but damn, to be second. But once again, like MILO said, from the back, he was so striated. I mean, his glutes and hamstrings were the best in the show. And Hardy, well, you just couldn't fault him. And I think it actually says a lot for the judging that he's probably not, I guess, brand-wise, your perfect Mr. Olympia. He's like from a goat farm in Iran. He can't speak any English. He's got hearing aids. And yet his body was the best one there on the day, particularly Friday night. I thought he was faultless front, back, side. So, if you take the personalities out of it and the fact that we're all friends with somebody there, I thought the top 5 was pretty much spot on.
Melvin, what do you think?
I agree. Well, where I was sitting at first, I actually had Rami still winning. I was in that second tier. So from where I was sitting, I was trying to watch. I was just like, I thought it was like a trick. Usually judges try to trick you by they don't move a certain person when he didn't move. I was like, okay, well, when they were doing the interchanging in the middle, I was thinking that they were moving people towards Rami. So I couldn't really see. And I was just like, I had him winning, people looking at me weird, like, no, it's not gonna be top 5. And I said, nah, man, I think it's hard to knock the king off until the night show.
Everybody felt like, wait a minute.
He's not moving. So, yes.
I said, maybe they're checking out for second, third, and fourth.
That's exactly what I thought.
I was thinking.
Moving. He's not moving. So at the night show, when I had a better seat at the night show, thank you, Dennis, and Ron Love and them. So I get down there and I'm sitting there, and then when he came in, I was like, whoa. When I got down there, I seen the glaring, flaws and mix and match and how the conditioning was on Derek. And I was like, oh, that boy's on. And then, so I'm watching Hottie and I'm watching Samson. I'm watching Samson. And I'm like, okay, that guy's so big. He's big from all angles. And then I'm like, as they were interchanging again at the night show, I was seeing, kind of like, man, I think Hottie's going to get it because of how everything was going in movement. So me sitting closer, it was better shots for me to get what I needed to see. So I understood, he was the best for the day and the judges rewarded. And that was cool. I mean, usually that doesn't happen. So like that, but I was pleased with it. I actually told Samson before he went up there, because I know Samson, I didn't want to step on no toes. And I was like, can I tell you something? He's like, yeah, man, I've been waiting to meet you. MILO talks about you all the time. I said, don't put so much strain in your face. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, when you come out your posing routines, when you hit shots, he makes this crazy looking face.
Don't do like Rolly Winkler.
Yeah, he makes this crazy looking face. So I'm like, bro, I was like, whatever you do.
But the funny thing about Rolly is Rolly would make the face before you hit the pose.
Yeah, you make the face.
You make the face first, and then he gets the shot.
Yeah, but that became his trademark.
Yeah, I didn't want to offend him. So I was like, he was, hey man, I'll take any of your tips, Melvin. I said, I'm just gonna give you a marvelous touch tip. Check this out. I said, make everything look easy. I said, because every shot has a face. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, your front of a biceps is a smile. Your lat spread's a smile. Your side chest is a smile, right? I said, your most muscular, serious face, side, lunge shot, serious face, relax. When you hit your shots on stage, even when you're posing in the prejudging, make sure everything looks easy, like it's effortless. And he goes, man, that's crazy. And he did it. I sat there and I watched him. I was like, that boy listens. He actually did it. And I was like, and his posing routine, I think, was the best in the show. I was like, okay.
Well, he's a good
boy,
poser.
he did something. Huh?
He's a good poser for sure.
He's a good poser. I was like, that boy, okay. I said, okay, I'm gonna talk to MILO. So I'm like,
Doesn't Samson remind you guys of a bigger, thicker? What was the guy from England? Eddie, what was his name?
Eddie Abu.
Eddie Abu, yeah.
Eddie Abu. He does.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on Trifecta.
Kinda,
And-
you know, just
and-
just a bigger version, way
He's a
bigger.
bigger version, but he's Nigerian too. You know, I was like, he's a
Was
Nigerian
Eddie
guy.
also Nigerian?
Eddie was my athlete too. But what I was going to ask you, do you guys remember what was the last call out and who was in the middle?
The last call out, what?
Two guys in the middle.
Prejudging or the confirmation? round?
Prejudging.
Wasn't it Rami and Samson
No.
No, not Rami.
in the memo? Who was in the middle?
I tell you, you'll be shocked. I rewatched it, and as they had this mix and match, Brandon and Nick Walker were in
Yeah.
the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the middle, huh?
Yeah.
To start mixing. This is what Steve does.
Mixing. Yeah, but that was that final one, right? Which normally leaves you with the impression like, hold on a second.
No, Milo. Steve does that shit all the time in the last years, where he mix matches the last call out. He puts everybody in the middle, just to confuse people.
I remember Dennis after the finals, and I said that to you when they put Rami in the middle at the finals and moved him in, and we were trying to work out, was that just theater?
The only one who believed that meant something was Rami, I guess.
Yeah, he did. He was excited. He was fired up. Yes.
Yeah,
said,
I think he's the
okay.
only one that thought that this is going to mean something.
Hey,
Yeah, it was too
Milos,
late.
Milos, did the carb up go how you wanted to, or did you put a little bit too much carbs, or did you have you want
No,
more carbs?
if nothing, too little. Seriously.
He looked full as hell though.
You haven't seen, nobody has ever seen Samson really full. This is, in perspective. I know that you just go with the impression what you see it, but, considerably less than I wanted him to be. But, again, it's kind of playing safe. And that delayed prejudging kind of also screwed it up. You know what I mean?
So was that a challenge with the guys going on so late? Because for me, myself, I would probably be a little bit more waterier than I would be around 12 o'clock.
Yeah, but listen,
Water at that time myself.
you guys mentioned it also. It's not the same 212-pound guy and 300-pound guy, right? Give a 4 hours to Rami, and he can considerably change, right, for worse. You don't give him food, don't give him water, right? And smaller guys can handle it. So yeah, Samson had some meals backstage, right? But also, that's extra 4 hours that I'm sure that most of the guys miss their peak a little bit. You all agree that Hadi, who is known for super condition, off the chart, crazy striations everywhere, when he came initially, we were saying, okay, great, but it's not Hadi condition. Then as he keep posing, he started getting better, right? Everybody. I mean,
I thought from the front, but not the back. I never really caught it from the back like I would be expecting from Hadi.
Yeah, so from the back, what do you say? He was
I
not
thought a little bit
driving
more
the back.
water than what I would like to. I wanted, because a couple of years ago he was just like bone dry everywhere.
Yeah,
But I thought his front was way better than his back, and I thought Lunsford was way better in the back than.
I thought Derek
In the
was
back.
Big, but Hadi had a big back, and I think that regulated.
Hadi is big.
From,
This is what people are not talking about. Hadi, look at him. Proportionally by square inch and width.
Yeah. The width
When he
is
opens
great.
up those lats, I mean,
He has some poses like the real lat spread where he's the biggest guy.
yeah,
exactly.
real lat spread, exactly.
Yeah.
By far.
I thought Lunsford might
Even
have
the front double biceps was a big shot for him this time.
Yeah. Taper down, thicker, bigger arms, wider lats, yeah.
When you compare, because if before the show, we all would agree that Derek would have the best real lat spread out of all of them.
Yeah, we thought so.
And when you see Hadi and Derek next to each other, it looks like Derek is a way smaller version.
Derek by himself is.
He's always biggest until you stand next to somebody.
Yeah, but Derek, even if you guys look at the last couple of years, 4 weeks out, 6 weeks out, he did some guest posing or some of those crazy Instagram pictures. His back was humongous, thick, wide, detailed, everything, right? But then to squeak into 212, I guess he lost it. This time, that was impressive. The only guy that could match him there was Hadi. Yeah, I think in the width and the detail and everything.
Should Derek do the Arnold?
Derek shouldn't.
I would. If
No,
was-
I think so too. I think it's 9 weeks from now. I think this would be a good thing for Derek to just do the Arnold too.
Yeah,
Milos
probably.
don't want him to do the Arnold because he
No,
wants.
listen, no. Don't get
You just already said no, he shouldn't.
Said, no.
I don't think you should. I mean, because
Or you don't think he should?
yeah, you know that I encourage everybody to compete all the time, but now being second at the Olympia, right? So let's say you don't peak correctly because it's too little time, because you put everything whole year into this prep, and then he loses to a couple of guys at the Arnold Classic. And what kind of,
I don't think that would matter.
I don't know.
well,
I mean,
yeah,
listen, I love a stack up Arnold. I mean, Samson is going, and I don't want him to beat the Christmas trees. I want him to beat, good guys. You know what I mean? It's not like,
Tell him to
I don't want to
beat
challenge.
whoever show up. I don't know. Tell him to beat whoever show up. It don't
But
matter.
you know, the thing is with I think one thing is when you do the Arnold and the Olympia, one of those shows you're not going to be the top. One of the shows you're not going to be your all time. It's hard to peak for both of those and be like dead on.
Yeah, but Chris, it's normally the Arnold is like 3-4 months after 5 months after the Olympia.
Right? Yeah.
Now it's only
Like
9.
every 6 months or so.
Now it's only 9 weeks. So if you
Yeah,
were good at the Olympia, you could be good at the Arnold, and then you have plenty of time until November to get back to the Olympia again. So
Yeah, and just one thing, don't forget, you said Derek had a whole 12 months to prepare for this. He didn't. I mean, when he went to do that guest pose, well, he didn't go. When he went to the Pittsburgh show, he got called up to guest pose on the spot, and that's when everything started to happen. That was May. So I don't think he got the invite till like June. So it's not like he put 12 months
he knew
into that.
he knew he was going to.
Yeah, he before we left there, dog. Trust me.
When he was on that stage in
Before,
Okay, but
ready to go.
before he came off the stage, it was already
Yeah,
set in
he
stone.
knew what the
Okay.
he
business
was never
was.
going back to 212.
Okay, granted that was May.
Don't believe the hype.
Okay, but it was still May. It was only 6 months.
But they probably already knew in March that they're going for the Open.
Oh, okay then.
Mhm.
I guess so. There's no way
100%.
they're going to make 212.
I mean,
So
we
I
had the
think
show.
I think he
about
can
never- We were never worried. We was always saying, "No, it's gonna happen." That's I don't even believe that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
I know that.
he's going to do the Arnold.
You know who's also going to do the Arnold? Sean Clarita.
Who?
Yeah.
Who's doing Arnold?
Sean Clarita, I heard, is doing the Arnold.
Oh,
Open?
Yeah, of course. There's no.
I would.
There's no 212.
This guy is a dangerous Open competitor. It shows up. Sure.
Yeah, he is.
better watch out for that little
He will
guy.
out-condition people, and that's going to hurt somebody. He's going to
Yeah.
be so much better conditioned, and he's going to sneak in, and he'll kill a. He'll kill a
You know what? I
He gonna
gave him
take
the
somebody's
biggest
check.
compliment.
He go, get out my pocket.
I gave him the biggest compliment. I interviewed him at the expo after the pre-judging. Well, man, when you did your back double bicep, you look like Ronnie. He's got shrunk down a little bit. I mean, he had that Coleman kind of look when you put it all together when he's on his own, okay, because he's only this tall. But when he's on his own, he hits that back double bicep. You're like, shit, that's something else.
I think every shot looks good on him. Every shot.
Yeah, but that one's out of sight.
I think Nick
Chris.
Ross do the Arnold too.
I think you should.
Yeah,
Well, he won it this year, huh?
No, he did. He won it last year.
Or last year.
This year was
Some-
Brandon Curry. I think Brandon Curry should do the
Yeah,
Arnold.
yeah.
I
Yep.
think, just do
Nick
it.
Walker, Bonac, all of them.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get Brandon, William,
Nick.
Nick, Derek. I wouldn't be surprised.
There'll be a
It's
stacked
usually-
lineup for us.
What? By the January 1st, they should announce it, right? In a week.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's going to be guys entering the show 3 weeks before, and they will still take it.
Yep, they'll take them.
That was the same thing last year.
I like the Arnold. I like
I mean,
the setup.
this year, I remember talking to Brian just before they made the announcement. There's no athletes. I was like, trust me, you're gonna have a good show. And then all of a sudden, there was Brandon, there was William, You know, and it's people signing up. Steve Kuklo, you know. I'm
Wait till
sure,
the
I'm
last-
sure we're gonna have a
You think Steve will be in it?
Steve Kuklo? I don't know. I don't think so. He didn't do the Olympia. And he was qualified.
You know who I saw at the Olympia?
I mean, he could have said, okay, I'm gonna sit out the Olympia and go do the Arnold. I don't know.
Mhm.
What about some people that didn't make their mark or hit their peak? Maybe they
That's
might be.
what I'm saying. This would be perfect for people that didn't do as well as they thought it would, like Ian Valliere,
Yeah, but yes, I was just gonna say his name.
Andrew Jack,
Yeah,
Michael
But
Krizo.
Andrew Jack did good though, man. I thought.
Andrew Jack.
I
I seen
know,
him
but
better.
I know, but
I
you
seen
know,
him better though.
can he look better?
Yeah,
Yes.
he looked better, but he was on prep the whole year. So
That's
I
why
thought
I think he
need-
should.
But I think he needed to take some time and just grow his body and just shut
You're
it down and come back.
You're right.
strong.
With Andrew, I totally agree because he did so many shows throughout the whole
Yeah, he
year.
did so many
But
shows.
all the other guys, Ian, they all should jump in. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
So you think it's gonna be a stacked lineup then, huh?
Maybe
I
Sergio.
think so. I think it's going to be a stacked Arnold. Who?
Yeah.
Maybe Sergio.
Yeah,
Waiting in the wings for a while.
Sure. I mean, how long? I mean, he's 39 years old or 40. How long will you want to wait?
Yeah.
Bring
Get
him
on in there.
on stage.
Get on
so-
in there and get it while you can.
I'm going to tell you where is the problem, you know, as a coach, and you guys are athletes, so you know. What is a normal length of the cycle for the Olympia, right? You know, for Olympia, you go all out.
Many pieces.
Your cycle is longer. Sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, Sean Ray would do, you know, 6 month cycle and then 6 months off, right? You know, just Olympia is it.
Most of these guys have been on a cycle since the Olympia 3 years ago.
That part.
Exactly.
That part.
And
They,
they
they
go off
still
and
they
off.
still
The problem is if you go with such a strong cycle, right? Such a long cycle, and then 10 weeks later you have to do it again, it's pushing it, right? So
uh-huh.
you know, for that reason, the guys that maybe
For that reason, Samson is doing the Arnold, right?
no, I don't listen. When Samson was in Fuad's place when he went there, right? And he told him he was not just off like cruising or anything. He's off. Completely off, like what we talk about, you, Chris, Melvin, Dennis.
Yeah.
When we went off, that means off.
Yeah.
He was completely off. Nobody even believed it. Yeah.
I love when you say people say they're off or they're clean, and then all of a sudden
They're natural.
And then, yeah. Then when the conversation continues, then you find out what they really do.
get out like a break, like Bernie Mac say. Yeah, when we were back in the day when we went off, we went off. We break. I ain't taking nothing, eat what I want, eat bacon sandwiches. Believe me, I'm off, all the way off.
I had the guys that come to me and say, like, oh yeah, so show me the cycle. Oh, I've been off since last count is 3 months ago. Okay, off. Well, 500 test and 300 DACA and a little bit D-ball.
Yeah, that's not all.
Yeah. Oh, GH, yeah, maybe insulin on some days, like what the fuck, man.
Or the ones that say they're completely off, and then I ask them for how long. It's like 9 days. 9 days.
So practically, I think that a lot of guys, if they really put the whole prep for the Olympia, it would be kind of hard that 10 weeks later, right? But let's see what
all
happens.
Competitors, all Olympia competitors.
Hmm?
Don't listen to what Milos just said. Go to the Arnold.
Yeah,
Go to the Arnold. Get in it.
At the end of the day, I just think, especially for guys like Ian and maybe Brandon, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. 9 more weeks, man. Yeah. I can't go out like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got to get it. I would. I mean, we
That's
always
hey, listen, we're talking $200,000 first price.
That part. That will motivate me to get my butt right on that stage. Right on that stage. Yes, sir.
And you're going to look to two guys that like Brandon and William have got a great history at the Arnold. They always do well at that show. So I think those two would be crazy not to do it.
I think there's a lot of spilling over on that stage. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah.
Huh?
A lot of spilling over on the stage, but that can be easily corrected, just by, bodybuilding is 12 o'clock. That's when you're on your peak,
Yeah.
So That's bodybuilding, man.
See, this not only bodybuilding, it's the same in boxing. You know, how you going to see when people before the fight, people say, "Yeah, I'm going to knock him out in the third round. I can see this fight going any other way," and then they get knocked out, and then they're trying
Oh
to.
yeah. It's gonna go this way. It's gonna go that way.
Yeah. So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, bodybuilding is the same because when you're training in the gym, you know, and you feel you at your best, you think this is going to go your way, you know, and shit happens. And I listen, I learned a lot for the future for me to say, just to say things that you never know, because sometimes there's things that you can't control. You know, what I'm saying? Things can happen. In bodybuilding, things can happen.
Well,
Like
there's
people said, in 4 hours, waiting longer than expected. This
Well, I
happened to me. It happened to me back in
Yes,
2000. It was only 1
yes,
hour.
it did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
1
I
hour.
was
Ain't
in-
shit.
I remember I was in San Francisco and I thought I was looking right. I just got in shape. You know, you're a little bit behind, but then you just get there towards the show. But then you overshoot your carbs because you thought you was in better shape than what you actually were, and then start finding out on the stage.
Yeah,
Like,
you find out.
oh
Yeah, I know how that
what
goes.
the fuck?
Yeah.
But you know,
That's
some
the
of the
worst.
And then
That's
you
the
didn't make
worst.
that call out, and then you sitting there like, God damn.
I'll tell you a prime example. When we did that photo shoot, remember Chris and I was going through that little breakup and all that at 2009, and I was like, I thought I was ready. I did everything right. But the stress. You don't know about stress. Stress will tear you up. So I get to the show in the at the Olympia, and I did terrible. But I thought I looked great. I thought I looked until I saw them pictures. I got to looking online. I was like, ooh, I look like crap. Then on Sunday, I walk in the gym, and Chris looks at me and goes, "Bro, you're peaking." It's like,
But
I
listen,
said, Chris, I said,
most of the fans don't realize and they don't understand that literally things can happen within 60 minutes. You know,
That's the way you feel inside.
just in
sometimes.
my case that I can speak for is back in 2000 when I was backstage, when I took my clothes off, when you thought it's going to be 12 o'clock, I swear to God, the reaction that I got from people backstage told me everything. And an hour later, everything was different. I didn't see it. I didn't know. I thought I was still like an hour before. But then I'm standing there, you know, standing there, you waiting for that call out.
Hey,
and they calling, you know, they always called in numerical order. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I don't remember what number I was. I
they
think
went through your number.
12 out of
They
13.
passed your number.
Oh, hold on. Can I jump in on that one? So hold on. There was I was preparing you for that show.
Yeah, I know, but Milos, we mentioned that already 3 times. We don't have to talk live.
The
What hour?
pictures,
You're gonna get.
no, the
Let's
pictures,
get it in.
You know what? Just on that, I was backstage. I think when you walked in on Friday night, Dennis, and I think Rami was pretty much the first one back there because he was staying at the other place.
Right.
And when they said to him, "Go back to your hotel for 2 hours," his face fell. You know, and I mean, everybody's got the same disadvantage, but I think someone that carries that much muscle that's so fine tuned. I don't know what he looked like at that point, but I think personally, I think that really affected him. Really, really affected him. The stress, you know, and I saw the stress in your face. You're like, "Fuck, what are we going to do?" And it wasn't 2 hours, like you said, turned into 4 hours. And
But at the end of the
same.
day, at the end of the day, everybody had the same problem.
Same disadvantage. I agree. But
So-
when you're carrying that much muscle and you got that much pressure on you, like Melvin said, stress is a hell of a drug.
Tear you up.
And when
Tear you up.
when you're the 2-time Mr. Olympia and everybody's watching you, and you walk in and everything's not right, I just think you've got some added pressure. Now I don't know whether he'd already messed it up or whether that affected him, but in my book, I just saw his face, you know, and you can tell.
I think it was a combination of a few things that didn't go as planned, and that's just what happened. So at the end of the day, and listen, it is what it is, you know, and
Gotta fight.
I just wish some of the fans and some of the so-called wannabe experts, you know, would keep that in mind that things can go wrong. You know what I'm saying? People want to crucify you for saying something that was like weeks prior. You know what I'm saying? You know, and basically want to crucify you for saying things that, oh, it didn't happen. Yeah, well, it didn't.
At this point, I don't care. But at the point when, you know, it was all, you know, we all assume that a person's going to be at their best, and that's what we base it upon. And stuff happens at shows. And
But
there's so much more.
What do I always say? So listen, we always
It all could change.
if everybody's at their best, we all know it's only going to be 2, 3.
Right. Right. And
We
there's
all
so
had
much more.
we all had 12 people in our top 6 this year. I remember seeing you all before the show, and like, this is the deepest Olympia. You know, one we didn't talk about before was Brandon. I mean, I looked at a picture of him from last year to this year, improved out of sight, but the whole sport improved out of sight. Therefore, he kind of got a little lost in that top 5. I mean, he looked fantastic on his own.
Was anybody 100%?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I think Saturday night, Derek and Hardy were probably pretty close. I think Friday night, as I said, they were both a little flat, but Saturday night,
But
man,
Derek can be so much better than that in my eyes.
Yep.
Derek can be
I was going to put the dog out. 1 sec.
30%.
Hey, good morning.
better.
It's
Hey, the
morning.
puppy.
2-1.
The puppy.
Come on. Don't take it.
I think the Olympia has so much stuff going on now. There's so much more things going on, and it's hard to time stuff now. It used to be more mainstream when we were coming through. Boom, this is happening. Boom, okay, guys, 20 minutes. Boom, boom. It was more. Now it's like, ooh, it's
Too many
pausing, and
competitors.
I'm glad I didn't have to deal with it.
It was way too many competitors in each category.
Oh,
It's,
Yeah,
too
well,
much. It's too much.
Over 400.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about what could be done in order to minimize the categories to, let's say, 15, maximum 20.
It's got to start at the qualifications and getting into the show, obviously.
They're making it too easy.
I think the first thing they should eliminate is the damn top
Point.
3 in each
Like,
points.
You don't like the points?
No.
Yeah.
Hell no.
What they need people with points for, and they already have 33 guys.
Yeah, when they bought that in, right, there was no depth. So they bought the points thing in because they dropped the top 3 at each show. So that was probably good for 1 or 2 years. We don't need that anymore. I mean, look at the reason, as an Arnold promoter, our agenda was you never have more than 15 invitations in any of the classes. And I guess that's why the Arnold's, it works because it's an invitational. You can't really do that with the Olympia because then it would be like favoritism in everybody with the show. So it's got to be a qualification.
Or is it just the winners only?
But explain this to me.
Maybe the top 2.
But explain this to me. Back in the days, each show, the top 3 would qualify, and from some of the shows, the top 5. And it was less competitors than now.
Yeah. It was harder to get a pro card.
There was way less shows.
How does that happen? There's not, because there's too
We
many.
don't have as many competition? No.
Yeah, there wasn't as many shows. And then you look at, like back then, for example, the European Grand Prix, it was the same guys. So there'd be 5 shows and the top 3 qualify, but it was the same 3 or 4 guys getting those spots.
So what do you think? So what do you think can be done? Instead of winning a show, win 2 shows?
They can't allow winner of every show. They cannot. I mean, there is many shows. It has to be scaled down. Like you said, back in the 90s, top 3 would qualify. But Tony said, first, top 10 from previous Olympia qualify. And some of those top 10 would compete in every other show. I would always have a Vince Taylor there. So, when Vince Taylor is there, you already know you're not going to be, first or second, third. And then there's Sonny Schmidt, right? They would come, and there's so many guys. So many times nobody qualifies. One time I got the invitation for the Olympia as the 4th one because top 3 were already qualified. So I got the invitation, because I was 4th.
Cool.
I don't know how many shows. So that was happening before, but let's face it, 30-something guys, it's more than double. It cannot happen again. I don't know the answer, but a logical answer is it should be tires. That, okay, this winner qualify, and the other ones maybe go by points. So something like that could possibly happen. Sorry,
you want points to stay in the
well, points for lower tire contest, that this can be accounted, and then let's get 3 guys out of those. Let's say there was a 15 winners of the shows this year that maybe they could have been put in that bracket and get the top 3 from there. It should be no more than, let's say, 20 Olympia competitors. I agree with you, Tony. 15 is usually always the sweet spot, especially with all these categories. Instead of 400 competitors, in all the classes, it should be 15 times each category.
Because
Yeah,
think
which is
about
about
think
about
about
200.
this. The promoter, Jake Wood, is paying for the flights,
Mm.
hotels, per diem. That's a shitload of money with almost
A lot
400.
of money. Ooh wee. It's a lot of money.
Was
But
it
also
400?
prestigious.
Was it over 400?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was about 404 or 405. And I know because I had the running sheets for the interviews that the classic physique was 59.
All
The
right. So
men's physique was
let's try to
68.
calculate how much that cost. So let's say 400. Let's say the flights, I think they pay 350 for domestic, and I think it's 750 or 800 for international flight.
700.
700?
Mhm.
Okay, so 700, let's say per diem for 3 days, that's 1,000. And then the hotel, let's say the hotel for 3 nights, is it 3 or 4 nights? 3 nights, I
Thir-
think.
4 nights.
Nights.
Thursday, Friday,
Let's say
Saturday, Sunday.
another 350 or 400 for 3 nights, okay? So we got 1,400 times 400. That's 560,000 right there.
Ah.
Ouch.
There you go.
Here you go. You can have that.
You know what I'm saying? So, and the time, you can't do this no more. You can't have these guys go on at 2 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time. That's not right. You know, we used to be done with the prejudging at 10:30.
Easy.
Now these guys don't go on till 11:30.
I would have put him up there first. What do you think?
It's not about the guys up there first. It's still, they don't do that because they want people to sit in
People
there
to
to
stay.
watch them. But if you put the guys first, somebody's got to go last.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
then,
look, I think-
then you sit through the whole finals until fucking 1 in the morning.
I mean, just putting on my promoter's hat for a minute, you stop and think, okay, let's say you got 60 people in classic physique or 70 people in physique. With the pay-per-views and how many people are watching around the world, don't forget each one of those guys has got a hometown or a fan base or whatever. So that's probably going to make up a lot of those athlete expenses. And I think, and I won't be quoted on this, but I think what we did at the Arnold
Yeah,
in
but
Columbus
Tony-
one year,
but Tony-
when we had,
But Tony, only the top 10 will qualify, will pose.
right.
So, you know, I mean, how many people?
They were watching the prejudging, and Friday you've got both the prejudging and finals for most of those categories. But I remember one year in the Arnold, I think Bob told me that what they did with physique, they said, look, we've got so many people want to enter, you can all enter. We'll have 30 or 40. And then we'll retrospectively pay the expenses for the top 10 or the top 15 only.
That's what they do at the Arnold.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Which, I think commercially that works.
But the thing is, at the Olympia, it's been tradition that when you qualify for the biggest
Yeah.
show in the world, you get invited.
Well, they've got to come up with some new formula. I mean, I think this year, it's never been like that, right? And this is how things evolve. Like back in the 90s when you guys were competing, it was top 10 from the previous Olympia qualified. Then they shortened it to top 6. Now it's back to top 3. Or maybe there's
It's top 5. Top 5 at the Olympia, right?
Is it? No, I thought it was 3.
No, it's top 5.
Qualify for next year?
Nick Walker was 5th last year and competed in the Olympia.
Yeah, top 5 is qualification guarantee. Top 5.
Oh, well, make that top 3. Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, think about it. It used to be top 10, man.
Then 6, then 5, and now maybe we'll go 3.
No, but then if you have a top 3, right? And we all agree 4th and 5th and 6th is unbelievable achievement at Olympia, right? Those guys should be awarded, but not every show winners should be immediately qualified. Unfortunately, this is how it is, right? There's many shows that maybe should go into different category. And, that's why I'm not the master. I'm not into this, but logically, if you have 40 shows a year, that's possibly 40 winners. It's not like Vince Taylor back in the day, or Dexter Jackson or Chris Cormier would do every show. So it could be different winner every time. Not every winner should be automatically Olympia invited.
So, like, if it's
No.
let's say the New York Pro, the Arnold, the Olympia, which are the biggest shows, right? Let's say another Arnold in Brazil.
Yeah.
Let's
Every
say
Arnold.
you see the winners there automatically qualify. The Olympia top 5, we already know that. Let's say from the Arnold, it's the automatic, the winner only. But when it's in shows like, you know, some of the shows, Italy and Spain, and you know, this lower tier, you should do at least two wins.
I was just thinking about the same thing.
That'd be good. I think
Three.
that'd be a good idea, Dennis.
Huh?
I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah. So
Something like that. Something like that has to
You're
happen.
still winning prize money, still incentive to be in the show. But
I
you
mean,
gotta,
it sucks for the athletes because now you got to travel to 2 countries possibly and win, hopefully.
Yeah,
or
hopefully.
travel
go
around.
to the
Hopefully take
big
2.
But listen, it just makes the Olympia more special.
I think Tampa would be good because that's like a world championships in itself.
Yeah, 6 to 8 shows, 6 to 8 shows. You know, top 5 from Olympia, 6 to 8 shows immediately qualified, and then let's say 3.
You know what I would do? You know what I would do? I would make all US shows 1 win, and all
Yeah.
other shows out of the US 2 wins.
Not Canada, not
Yeah.
Canada.
That would help.
Yeah.
I mean, that would
Yeah,
help
make the
streamline it.
USA shows, yeah.
Make it to tell you so that way you don't have to say, oh, this show is that tier, that tier. If you win a show in the US, you go into the Olympia. If you win it in Europe or wherever, you got to win.
Gotta win a couple. Yeah.
Let's talk to the higher ups, Dennis.
Yeah.
We gotta
Well,
put,
you know
put
what?
that put that
I'm sure-
proposal together.
I'm sure they're thinking about it and they're talking about it and trying to come up with the right formula because there was too many this year. But I mean, what a celebration of the Olympia that was in a way, even though it spilled over. Shit, that just shows how successful the sport is. You know, with Jim doing so many shows around the world and so many athletes competing. I mean, classic physique this year.
Right.
I was backstage. It was. I know that
Almost 60.
C-Bump, he was number 58, you know. Oh, damn, it's a long time
59.
to wait to come out and do his routine. And you know, I mean, talk about Chris Bumstead. He dominated that division. That was the best
And
I've seen.
I thought Breon should have been closer to that front so he can go against Bumstead. At least for his last time in Classic, I thought that was a disservice to the fans because I felt like the fans would have loved that shit. They would have loved
the
it.
prejudging, Chris. I was just waiting for them to move him in.
I know,
into
he
that
was fucking
build.
He was
that was
peeled.
let him go up on his shield, you know. Just
But
like,
was he frustrated?
yeah, I haven't spoken to him much, so I don't know if I'm frustrated for him not to get that because those other 2 kids in front of him, I mean, I love them to death. I know them personally. I'm rooting for them to have a kick-ass successful career, but I just thought they was not ready for that they weren't ready for Bumstead. Bumstead ate them alive.
Yeah.
No,
He ate everybody alive.
But Breon would have had a better look. I mean, he could. They've been head to head all these times. That would have been. That's what the fans wanted to see. That was what the fans wanted to see.
I interviewed him right after the prejudging, and I mean, man, he's got his personality worked right out. He didn't crack, but you can see in his eyes it was kind of like, well, you know, what just happened. But he was a consummate professional always. He didn't bitch and carry on or anything else. He was as dignified as he always is. But I felt for him, Chris. I
think Bumstead would have liked to have seen that too, though.
Yeah. But I mean, Bumstead was good. That's the best version of him I've seen. And wow.
Yeah. He was
I tell you something. Yesterday I was shopping for health insurance, and this guy that was talking to me, oh, if you're generally healthy, so I told him, yeah, I'm in bodybuilding. Oh yeah, you know, did you watch Olympia? So this guy is telling me, I say, yeah, I watch Olympia. So I asked him, do you know Jay Cutler? So he goes, football player? I said, no, it's no, but I know Chris Bumstead, you know. So how popular Chris is, people don't even realize. I mean, this is the next level.
Even out here, he's got a cult following. It's incredible, and I think he manages his brand real smart.
Yeah, and he has a look. I mean, Chris, again, I mean, as much as you would want to see Breon next to Chris, I mean, Chris would.
Yes, for his last time in Classic, yes, I would.
Yeah, but
Yeah, right.
Chris dominated everybody, you know, so it wasn't even close. That's Chris at his all-time best. But can I
Like,
just
like a
mention?
mature, like a mature physique. There's other guys that don't have a mature physique yet, you know.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
have a classic look, more classic look. That I mean, Brian for me is still bodybuilder look-alike. If there would be classic bodybuilding, you know, then I would consider him there
Well,
because
you
they
got
said
the best back in the class.
How good can
Has the
Breon be?
best back.
How good can Breon be in the 212?
very good,
I think it'd be good.
very dangerous.
What do you think,
Especially-
Chris? Chris, what do you think his weight could be?
In the high 90s, I would think.
So he still be way underweight. So he still be a smaller guy.
I think it'd be in the. I mean, we can see because I haven't seen it yet, but I know he's in really good shape in 190 something.
Yeah.
And he has to still.
But what I'm saying is if you 10, 15 pounds under the limit,
I mean, because he's never really got a
he's
chance to
considered a
bodybuild.
smaller guy.
He never got a chance to bodybuild. So who knows? Maybe with the little insulin and stuff like that, maybe he could be a little bigger.
Fill out
You know,
a full version of
because
Breon.
think about this. He turned pro at 176,
Wow.
and then he only had 4 pounds to play with in all these years.
Is he willing to try to see as heavy as he can get at his age?
Yeah, I think so.
You know what? I asked him that when I interviewed him because part of the interview I said, "So this is your last time in classic physique ever." I said, "How much bigger can you get to do the 212?" He said, "I've got plenty of room to grow." And he said, "I'm holding back all year." He goes,
Imagine,
he said he's
Yeah,
holding
he's
back.
always,
that
dude.
weight
That's the
down.
only time I knew him is him eating into the muscle the whole time. So I never.
Yeah. That's what he said. He said he puts on muscle easy, but he has to fight that off to
yeah.
make the classic weight. So he's very confident. Yeah, when I spoke to him, he's like, "I'm looking forward to this this new challenge and new journey."
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be a major player.
Imagine Breon at 205, 208 in the,
Right.
with the condition and the quality that he has.
Oh
And
yeah.
the maturity.
He's
Yeah.
fighting for the title.
Super
Yeah.
dangerous. Yeah, super dangerous. I think so too.
That back is gonna be nuts.
Who brings his condition and his muscle detail
Separation detail. Yeah,
in the 212s right now? Who? Come on.
dude, he's gonna be right up there, dog.
I mean, Sean Clarita is always.
John Clarita gets like that.
I think, yeah, but I think that, but then Breon would be a bigger version.
He's a bigger version of that, though, dog. Sean's
Yeah,
a little guy,
That's dangerous.
but Sean, you know, he's a great competitor. They look different. They look different. I think his separation is more detailed. than
I
Sean.
think that Breon wasted a couple of years in the classic where he should have
Bro,
been.
you know, I've been.
But already celebrate him as a 212 champion.
I've been clamoring for him to do that for the last 2 years. Easy. He knows I've been talking about that for 2 years now.
We also always talk about Keon Pearson, that if he ever puts it together, he wins the 212 Olympia. Do you think that this guy can put it together?
Keon,
Go ahead,
Huh?
Mel.
are you asking me about Keon or Breon?
Keon.
Yeah, if he put it together, ain't nobody beating him.
But we've seen it over and over and over and over.
It's something at the end. I don't know if it's something at the
Beautiful
end.
lines. He's never had the condition that he needs to win a show like the Olympia.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna judge it. I would like to see him not post all these pictures that he posts.
Me too.
I would like to see him train and show a fucking face that's sunken in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
well,
that
yeah.
That would
dry.
tell me everything.
Yeah,
He
you
needs
know,
to learn how to
You never been a fan of posting those photos, Dennis.
No, it's like, you know, he has great shots.
It'll give you. I understand what you mean. It'll give you you know, it'll make you think that you're going to see this
Exactly.
and if you
Exactly.
don't, it's going to be like, oh, he missed his peak.
I think
But it's
posting,
hard, and
I think
everyone
posting
posts.
some of those great
You ever
shots.
notice this, Dennis? Everyone posts so much better on Instagram than they do on the stage.
and then they get on stage and they don't even fight. They don't
Guys
do
and
nothing.
girls. Girls be like,
They don't be fighting. Yeah.
they get on stage look like a lost puppy up there.
All them girls have them little tiny waists. You know who remind me of, Keon, when it comes to not quite putting it together, but getting away with the shape of this one right here, Melvin.
Melvin always had it.
He had the same issue.
Same issue.
He never, I don't think Melvin was ever 100%, but he had such great shape and presentation that he pulled shit off. That
Melvin had some fight. He had some
I got fight in me, and I know how to
time,
pose.
listen,
Hey,
listen.
I know how
tell
to
you,
angle.
let me tell you something. The best condition he had
Yeah,
was,
twice.
let me see.
Twice.
No, I'm talking about one time now.
USA 1999.
No, that's as a pro.
As a pro, Phoenix.
2010.
That damn right.
Yeah, I had him here in the house.
He had me.
Believe it or not, and I know you probably don't believe it, he had striated glutes.
Sure did. Sure did. I sure did.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
You did not.
Yes, I did.
It's what
Ask
it
Flex.
is.
Show me.
Ask
I never
Flex
seen it. I
Williams.
just want to see because I know you since
Ask
the
Flex
early
Williams.
90s, and I never.
It was so crazy.
Chris, I
He had-
kid you not. I kid you not. I took the pictures myself right here outside.
Dennis used to come sneak in my
What they
room.
look like?
Man, that dude.
What
That
they
dude
look
had
like?
me like.
This
I
was the
thought I
best Melvin. His ass.
What did they look like, Melvin?
You know how big his ass is, and his ass was actually small.
Yeah.
Find out. He was
Man,
like,
I was
sit on
about
that.
to. I was about to put in.
I knew I was in shape. I knew I was in shape when I got there. That was the funniest thing because Dennis kept playing with me. Dennis is a mastermind at fucking with your head. So he kept saying, you know, Tony's coming, man. You know he's coming. And he said he's 290. What you gonna do about it? He used to mess with me daily. Then he'd be like, come on, pose one more time. I'm like, Dennis, I'm tired. Come on, man, one more time. He would put me in front of that damn door. He would just work me.
And then I made him, I think it was February. And then I'll tell him, and you know, it was, you know, daytime, it was like 60, 75, it was nice. It's cold in the night, but daytime is 75. And the pool's been fucking cooled down for months. So he's like, and he was sweating. He's like, oh man, how's the pool? Is it a heated pool? I said, yeah.
Yeah, he did, fucker. He told me this is what he did. So it was the worst thing you could ever do to a person, right? You trust your homeboy. And his pool Dennis has got one of the greatest pools ever. So I like water, right? And it was, I'm looking at the water. I was like, hey, it looks so succulent. I'm like, hey man, you got that heated pool? He's like, I got that heated pool, man. Just when I never had no goddamn. That's what kind of question is that to ask? So I took my clothes off, ran and jumped in that goddamn water. Milos, when I hit that water, it was like knives cutting me from my nuts. I jumped in a deep end, so there was no getting out. When I hit that water, it took my breath away, bro. When I came out that water, the whole family's laughing at me. You believe, Booby? How can you believe Dennis? I couldn't help you, Melvin.
I wanted to say something, but you were already mid-air.
And I was dieting down, Chris. So I had that 2% body fat, man. I hit that water. I thought I was gonna die, man. But he messed with me. But I know that I was in shape when I got to the show.
But come on, Melvin. How many times did you cheat on your diet throughout the whole years?
All the time.
All the fucking time.
The only way he can't cheat, the only way he couldn't cheat is when he's somewhere else other than home. Yeah. Even when he's home, listen.
You got
I talked to his ex-wife. She gave me
she gave
me all the information I needed.
Hey, he had that 6-year-old look on his face. He was like,
Hey, his ex-wife gave me all the inside information. Even dining for the Olympia, he would get up in the middle of the night and go to the fucking gas station to get ice cream.
That burn, you don't want to hit that burn, huh?
Chris, I didn't do it. I cheated up to
you.
I would never cheat closer than 7 weeks out. I would do it every week.
Bullshit.
No, I didn't do it.
I don't know how you can sit there. I don't even know how you can sit there and lie like that.
All right, Dave. All right.
Another 7 weeks out. But I tell you,
don't talk to me with
when I was at Dennis's, bro.
Don't say never.
I did it a couple times.
Diet.
I did it at Chris's. I always locked myself at Chris' house. Then I went to Dennis's house. Dennis kept keys to the car. He had the keys to the car. Dennis had, man,
all the stuff you got to do.
Man, I had to ride with that boy to the gym. And then when I got to the show, Flex Wheeler was like, hey, he's telling Dennis, he's like, hey, man, I'm telling you right now, I was listening to him talk. He goes, I have never seen Melvin look like this. And Flex goes, hey man, can I see him? And I'm listening. I'm like, because Dennis don't tell the athlete, he tells other people. So I just happened to hear Dennis say, that fool is on. And that's when Sean Ray was talking about, oh, the sun has set on Melvin Anthony. He's 40. He's not going to do well again. And I was mad about that. Then I was mad about Tony Freeman talking about he 290. So Flex, he goes, hey man, can I take a look at him? So Dennis turned around, hey Melvin, hey, just peel for him right quick. He had these cameras. He was doing this little camera thing. And I remember taking off my clothes, and Flex's face told me everything. I looked at Flex. He was looking at me like this. He said, turn around. Can you do a backed up bicep? I hit that backed up bicep. I got my clothes on. He looked at me. He goes, Melvin, I ain't never seen you look like that. I ain't never seen you look like that. He said, bro, whatever that is you doing, man, Dennis, you got that fool right. And then I got on the stage, and I was so hyped up, man. I had Tony Freeman cussing on the stage. They talking about, y'all need some water?
That was probably only because you weren't able to cheat.
Yeah, I couldn't do nothing. I was hungry on the stage, boy. I was on that stage, boy. They talking about, you want some water? I don't want nothing. I don't need nothing. You have to kill me up here. And Tony said, he ain't the only motherfucker up here. He cussed at John Tooman. I said, you just lost. You just lost right now. I'm 290.
But that's what I was saying, that Keon reminds me of a Melvin. If Keon can put it together, I don't think
nobody can beat him.
We say this every year. I mean, I don't think anybody can beat him. And he wins shows over after shows.
He's got that. When you pull that vacuum, that shit is lights out looking.
Yeah, and when I talk to him, he's so like. I asked him, I said, "How you feel?" He's just so docile. Like, well, I'm ready to go, and I'm like, man, you made you stress messing with you or somehow. Maybe at the end something. It could be at the end something messing with him. I don't know. I don't think he's cheating.
Yeah, I think he I don't know.
Chris himself out.
I interviewed him backstage after the pre-judging. Yeah, it was at the expo, and he said last year where he took like 12th or 14th or something, he said he was going through a whole lot of personal issues and stress and maybe a little depression or something, and
that messes with your body,
right? And he hadn't suffered enough, and I kind of put it to him. And I said, if you could just learn to suffer and to embrace what it takes, you're going to be unbeatable. And he was pleased that he'd moved, from outside the top 10 into that kind of wherever he finished. But I asked each athlete a question when I was interviewing, or anyone that mattered. I'd be like, can you honestly say that you stood up there at the pre-judging today guilt-free? And you could look at yourself and say, I did every single thing I could to be the best I can be. Mm-hmm. And when I looked at his eyes, you could just see, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
Right? It's that. And he's
Melvin's
got a little puffy face. Like Chris said, Dennis said, you want to see him with that sucked in face. Like he's been to hell and back. And I think if that guy, and I think mentally he's in a way better place than he was. And I think, he's got a big year ahead of him, but he's just got to learn how to suffer. Just got to embrace that pain, pain, bodybuilding pain, your best friend.
Yeah. He moved into the top 5. So, I mean, that's got to be motivation for next year. For him.
Well, that's kind of how I put it to him. I said, well, if you've done that this year, imagine what you can do if you get this right.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah. But Tony, that right there is the key to success in bodybuilding is mental. It's not like everyone's like physically capable. That's why you're here. That's why you're one of the best in the world.
Chris,
that's going to set the people apart.
Chris, were you always 100%?
No. I mean, I'm doing 10 shows a year, dog.
I used to watch Chris. Yeah.
But I'd be close enough and use my ability on top of that to get where
I knew Melvin wasn't 100% from the first time I talked to him. I remember the first time I asked him, I asked him, I don't know if you remember that. I asked him, I said, hey, how much protein do you eat a day? Oh, he says, you know what the answer he gave me? He said, 8 chicken breasts. I said, yeah, but and I'm telling myself, how would he know how many grams of protein? He said, I said, but how big or how heavy are the chicken breasts? He showed me the size with his hands.
Eyeball it, dog. Eyeball it
like that.
But that was very early, still as an amateur. And I said, damn, these guys here are not even 100%. I'm weighing all my food to the gram. There's
Yeah.
no way I would cheat. I would.
I didn't even know what the gram was.
It's 200 grams of rice. If it and it's 201, I would take 2-3 grains off. That was me. That
Yeah.
was me.
I wasn't. I used to watch Chris eat this big old bowl of salad. He had this, and man, when he seen it coming, man, Chris was so mad. He had to eat this big old, he was Vipano. He had to eat this big old, like 7 or 8 ounces of
I
just
was eating
straight
baby
salad.
food, baby
he
food
ate
and
baby
dry ass
food.
turkey.
There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with
baby
A little
food and
bit of
turkey.
oil.
And man, that boy said, "I hate this, man." That just the torment in Chris's face was hilarious. Hilarious.
I used to put oatmeal, just the oats, the raw oats in a bowl of water and just eat it like this.
I
Not
saw
even
you do
cook
it.
Not
I
even
saw
cook
you do it.
I
Like
didn't
cereal.
learn all this until I came to the US and saw they cook their oatmeal and then they have peaches and cream, strawberries and cream, and all them apple cinnamon and all them
Apple
flavors.
cinnamon.
What the hell's going on? Milos, you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that was your Haferflocken, right? That's
Yeah.
how it's
Yeah.
because I was with Frank Hillebrand in one of the tours, and he will literally, this is the first time I've seen it, he take the dry, oats, right, and put them in, put a little bit of water and knead them like this. Like, what the hell? You don't even cook it? But this is how it was. But one thing I want to say, because Melvin, you're a posing coach, right? And Chris, you do this quite often. I don't want to name the names because people are so sensitive. Every time I say a name, they,
Come on, Milos. What's your all of a sudden?
Don't change now. Don't change now, Milo. Fuck
You
it.
explain it and I'll say it. I
Don't
don't care.
change
I'll
on
say
us
it.
now, Milos.
Don't put the filter on, right?
Now, yeah,
Okay.
don't put
Open division bodybuilders, at the Olympia, a couple of them that openly say, I don't like posing. I'm not good at posing. I don't pose right. So it is like intelligent person in any field telling you,
like
I know
posing?
I'm doing it wrong. What?
if they
Don't
open,
like posing?
Milos, if they openly say it, who is it?
Yeah.
Jan Valier,
Yeah.
okay?
Oh, really?
Who?
Yeah. James Hollingshead, probably,
Yeah, you said Ian?
there's Ian. Okay. How do you
I know he said that he did some last minute posing. Like, what the hell?
but
And it showed.
and I had this many times. I mean, I don't want to mention all the names because really, I'll have
I can
I'll
mention
have
them
a
all.
huge hater list.
Most.
But by profession, you're supposed to pose. It's not how you lift, how you bench press, how you squat, how you eat. You have to. Bottom line is you have to present yourself.
Present yourself.
This is how I
for
explain it.
years. I've been talking about this for years. So Melvin, I don't know if you have some influence and stuff like that. Everybody should master. And I said
Master it.
when they send me the video, and if they are doing bullshit in between poses, and
Yeah,
you
correct
do
it.
this on the stage, right?
Yes.
So everything you have to do like me. I'm sure that you did it with the big Ramy. That everything pose and in between pose had to be mastered, and it's like you can see 100 videos, and 100 videos are exactly the same movement, right?
Yep.
There is
It has to be automatic, like walking.
automatic.
It
Like
has to
You don't need to touch your damn legs and
You
glutes to see that
exactly.
they're in. Like,
Why are
gotta
you
feel
grabbing
that
your
shit.
ass for? You grabbing your ass and
I
hamstrings
never
to know that
understood
it's there.
how
Amateur, man.
people touch their glutes and see if they're in or not.
Yeah,
That's
that's
amateur,
me.
dude.
If I was judging,
So
that would
amateur.
let me know you're not sure. Like I was always told by who I was taught by that guys get up there and they cry and jump up and down. You're surprised? Didn't you eat food? Didn't you do that cardio? Didn't you put in the work? You're not surprised. Posing is like creating a meal for the judges and the fans to enjoy. So you do all this work, to prepare your salad and put everything on it. You get your entrees, your steak, and everything. You put it on the plate. You're doing all this from your training, your nutrition, your workouts, and all this cardio you're doing. And then you get to the show and you just throw it on the floor with the plate and then give the judges a fork. Nobody wants to eat that. It's like, yes, you're who you are by name, but you're posing even in, being the best poser. There's a whole war in the daytime. Some of these guys don't even fight. It was so like disappointing to me to watch the prejudging because nobody fought. Only one that I seen was fighting was Samson. Y'all ain't fighting. Y'all standing there, hit a shot abdominal and thigh for 15 seconds, and they're like this. And nobody's hit another shot. I would eat those guys alive on that stage.
Those are some huge arms there, Melvin.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm saying, I'm sorry. Yeah, but that was very disappointing. Posing is very important. Andrew Jack said the same thing. I'm so impressed in with my whole routine. I did it a couple days for the show, and in my mind, I watched the routine, and it showed. I can tell you're thinking in every shot. You're thinking of what should I do next? Oh, okay, let me do this, and I'm gonna look over here and do this twisting shot, and then you're grabbing your glutes to see if they're in. If you can't feel your glutes being flexed and contracted, then you shouldn't be on stage doing that. It looks terrible.
You only have a certain amount of time to hit the shot, and you spend a
Yeah,
certain
and
time checking your ass and checking the side.
Shouldn't some of the guys not even pull their fucking trunks up in the ass? Like,
Absolutely not. If you ain't, yes, don't do that.
yeah,
You know, that's me.
They do
I
that
was
shit in
not,
the off season, and I get sometimes
I hate that, dude.
some people
They
I
got
work,
nothing there at all, but yet
some people I work with, you know, and
they have to.
send me progress pictures off season, and then they pull their fucking shorts in the ass like a fucking.
yeah, like you trying to show me. I'm not trying to.
Hey,
You know,
that's Ronnie Coleman.
Don't do that no more. I'm not
Don't
looking
do
for
that.
your ass,
Just
man.
tell him, yeah, buddy.
No striations in there. Don't be showing off your butt cheeks, man. This ain't no.
Another thing I don't like. Another thing I don't like is their front shots. You know, I'm like, and I'm gonna say it, be very clear, and I don't care how they feel about it. If you don't have Chris Cormier legs, content, anatomy, don't put your foot way out over there like Chris. It's terrible. If you're standing on the front shot, relax. Why are you trying to do the splits? You're not Linda Murray. Everybody stands with their legs way out here. Like you're trying to show people you have hanging hamstrings, not realizing that you're just taking away your sweep. Why would you turn your quads away from the audience so that you ain't got no sweep now? And then I'm gonna put my leg, my front of my bicep. I'm doing. You're not Chris Cormier, and you got Fabio legs, so you can't do that with Fabio legs and do a Chris Cormier shot. You can't do it. But these are things that nobody teaches them.
Hey, but do you ever notice a lot of guys do stuff that they see on video?
On video,
Yeah, they're from the back, they all going like this, and they all turn around. The same fucking movement. And
like what is you doing?
I know, Sean used to do that, Flex used to do that, but not everybody had a body to do that, and they're trying to pull it off.
I'll tell you why they do it. I tell you why they do it, because they see it on someone like you, and they like it, and they think I'm going to do that too because I like it. So they're going to like it on me.
When you don't have the components to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do shots. I can't sit there and hit a Ronnie Coleman most muscular when I ain't got no Ronnie Coleman chest. The devil is a lie. Heck no, I can't do it. But these guys are.
Get crabs. Rarely.
You guys should. You know what? You know what you guys should do. You and Chris together, Melvin. You guys should fucking organize a posing clinic.
Yeah, I'm
and
ready.
Just get people to come.
Melvin don't want to work.
What you talking about? I'm a working horse. What are you talking about? Since when you know me not to work? As many times as me and you got busy. Come on, man. Chris be talking so much. You remember we used to do legs? You used to see people don't even in the gym.
Look,
Milos used to do the same stuff. When we trained in the gym, Milos, what do we used to say? We want to train so hard. We want to train so hard that the gym can't train at all.
All right, I'm gonna set something up. I'm gonna call you with it.
You guys should set something up out there in San Diego.
I'm San Diego. I'm with it.
And then you guys should, just invite fucking people and
I got it.
I don't know, $40 for the whole day, and then do posing clinics, man.
Let's do it, man. And you know what? We Zero Gravity actually. Ryan talked to me at the Olympian. He's like, bro, you come over here and do a clinic. I got a lot of guys, man. They need it. Even the women. Some of them suckers don't know how to walk.
They don't know what they're doing over there.
I think you two, Chris and Melvin, you two together would have so many people come out that if you guys split that, you guys both be fine.
Well, I'm ready. Chris,
I really believe that. And I really believe that. And if this is something that you guys can do like every month, like once a month,
yeah.
You in 4 or 5 months, you have fucking 200-300 people show up.
Well, I know we need to go to Vegas, Milos. You need to bring me that Italian guy. You need to bring me Samsa. You need to bring me Logan.
Oh, I did.
Bring me all three of them guys, Milos. I got them.
Hey, I did like a few rounds with Samson. Bro, I said, okay, we're gonna hook up on Sunday. Sunday came, he never called back. Do you know that?
Guess what? I need
Milos?
Milos, I need
You're ready for the Olympia. You gotta want it like that, dog.
Yeah, but listen, I'm going to tell you this: some of the guys are their comfort zone, and then when you change it, they don't particularly like it. I'll tell you, Chris. Okay,
but you tell me he's this guy. He's that type of guy that he wants it so bad. Then maybe
Yeah,
Maybe
but
put that theory out there then if you
Well,
don't want it that bad.
yeah.
okay, remember,
You know what, guys? We should set something up in Australia too.
Hey,
yeah,
Tony,
yeah,
I'm ready.
We could set up in like a seminar, all-star seminar with posing clinic back in Australia at Tony's gym.
Yeah, that'd be really
I'd
cool.
love
We
that.
could-
If we
we could
blow
do
that
it-
up, Tony, if we blow that up, don't you think we can get this, we can pack this place?
Yeah, man. Like we can do a national tour. So what I do now with the pro league shows in every state, I go to every state and run a posing clinic like about 4 to 6 weeks before the shows.
Mhm.
But do you,
What I do, I have a little fun, Chris. I mess with people. So when we break them up into the groups, you know, classic and physique, bikini, and then when it's all done, that's all right, we're going to have like a mini contest. So I'll tape out like a stage in the warehouse, and I'll line them up. And I find that people are good at doing their posing routines to their favorite song, but they don't practice the compulsories and the quarter turns correctly. And
That
secondly,
part.
you see at the pro level with what you all just talking about is they don't have posing fitness. So they find the first time Steve calls them out, and the second time, but then when they're going to go back for more, they're huffing and puffing, and the stomach starts to stick
No
out.
endurance.
Hold their
That part.
shots.
Relaxing.
So I make them hold their shots for 30 seconds. Then what I do at the end of the posing clinic, I put on like a little mini competition. So we're going to bring out the classic guys, and you can all sit there and clap hands if they're good and boo if they're bad. And when I'm emceeing a show, I can't do this, right, when I'm live. But at the posing clinic, I do it. What the fuck are you looking at the floor for? Nobody
That part.
told you to turn right and to check with your hand which one's
But it-
left and right. And I'm absolutely brutal. So if somebody,
Mhm.
you know, because my pet hate is when you face in front and say, quarter turn to the right, and then look at their feet. And what are you doing that for? You just lost your posture. So when we do these posing clinics, I have the ability to be live and brutal and really in their faces. And
Mhm.
we can correct so much shit, you know. Also, you can save so much time at the contest. And I noticed this at the Olympia when the girls come out for bikini or wellness and the guys come out for classic physique, for physique, and they go to the back of the stage and they stand there and they do 2 shots, 3 shots where there's no fucking light. There's nothing. And they spend,
Mhm.
you know, the first third of their routine right at the back of the stage. So when we do these clinics, I say you've got 1 second at the back. And so imagine I've got like a taser. If you don't move after 1 second, you're going to get hit.
That
And
part.
then I embarrass them. I'm saying you're being self-indulgent. Get to the front of the stage and you've got more time. So
Yes.
doing these posing clinics, particularly for amateurs, because the amateurs, you know, they see, I remember back in the day, they'd see the worst one was Kevin Levrone, you know, we say side chest, and he's got 3 different twists.
Twist and yeah.
I get guys, you know, they're like 120 pounds trying to look like Kevin. I said, man, I'll just call the next pose. I'm like, side chest. If you don't hit that in 3 seconds, I'm going to move them quick to the next pose. And
Yeah.
and it helps so much. So I think you guys, I mean, you guys are the best in the business. You can absolutely kill it. But try doing that when you have these posing seminars. Do like a little mini contest at the end, because you know when you say 3 and 7 swap places, if they haven't practiced that, that can waste 5 minutes.
Mhm.
So
They
we
got to
get
know how to
that
attack.
down pat and
Yeah.
make a big difference on contest day. Everybody knows where they need to
That
be.
part.
but I tell
part.
you this, and you guys know that. For example, front double biceps, and we can go each and every pose. For most of the people, they just say, oh, I just have to get in position, front double
That's it.
biceps, and lift the arms. They don't think it. What is the judges are looking for? Oh, you need the X frame, you need the V taper, you need the lats out, you need peaking biceps, you need sweeping quads. If you have a wide waist, you have to tweak around, right? They don't think, is this anything else I can do to make this pose better? They just do what they always do. Okay,
do
so this is
basics.
where Melvin and Chris come in, and you just tweak them around a little bit, and whoa, now what? Okay,
Certain-
so
Mhm.
it is. I mentioned the top pros, Olympia competitors, pro winners, multiple pro winners, right? And then they say, "Oh, I don't like posing." Oh, what are you doing on the stage then? You know, I don't like
Exactly.
posing. You better like it, right?
I heard
You gotta
people say
love it
all the
because
time.
it's the energy. You have to connect to the audience. My thing was what made me so good at what I did. You got to connect with the judges for influence. It wasn't about the points for me. It wasn't about, I'm getting a point. I knew that if I could angle myself a certain way, to look a certain way, or to move a different way, to keep the eyes on me, it's an influence to make me go higher in the fight. If I could do something with my body, my frontal bicep vacuum, and then make something pop. If you know about anything about me, when I move, things happen. You know, everything happens. Every time I move, something's happening. I know how to do that from my muscle connection. I learned that. It's like these guys don't want to learn. I don't want to pose. I said, well, then why are you want to? I'll be the guy like that all day long.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
day
John
long.
Brown school. John
Yeah.
Brown school. John
Yes.
would even fingers. He has to be
It
one,
has to be
2,
like
3,
this.
4.
4,
You know,
5. It has to be 1, 2,
open.
3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
Yes.
it can be just any finger
Just
any
both.
time. Okay. Like you said, each pose, either smile or look at the
Animation.
audience, look away. That's all John Brown.
It's all
Hey,
John Brown.
I have one video that I would never post because Melvin was a kid and John Brown calls me to his house. And Melvin was actually taping on a video. And I was supposed to do the John Brown fucking thing. And I couldn't do shit, you know, because I don't have those moves. I was like stick. And then he just calls Melvin, and Melvin, he did perfect. You were not even an amateur. I think you were maybe
It's gonna be my first contest.
yeah. It's somebody has it, somebody doesn't. So I could not repeat that. Okay, you have to be authentic. You have to be yourself, but show your strengths and just ask yourself, what do I need to show? What do I have? What's his name? Joe Wheeler would tell me, right, back in the day, why do you do back down biceps in your free posing routine? Like, isn't that I supposed to, right? No? He said, you have a weak biceps, weak arms, weak back. Don't do it. But for twisting, you look good, right? Examples. So show your strengths, not your weaknesses.
Not your weaknesses. And try to expose another's flaws. See, that's me and Chris used to be. It's funny because on stage, he's always talking about, yeah, you got to try to go for the title. You always try to beat me. That's my job. That's what they taught us to do.
For you guys not to always say how much better you would do it. It's time for you guys to pass this along to some of these athletes.
Yeah, I'm ready to pass it.
Bro, I've been in the dungiest little posing rooms for.
But when we doing the first one?
Chris, I know, but I'm talking about on a bigger level.
I know what you're saying. I got some ideas. Don't worry, I got some ideas.
I'm ready when you're ready. Real deal.
Okay, so when I holler, come
on, man. When do I don't come up? Come on, man. When have I not ever showed up, man? I've been showing up since we was kids.
Just gonna tell you now.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Let's do it today.
I tell you guys, because if you don't do it, somebody else gonna do it, and then you guys fuck.
No, I'm ready to do it. Ain't nobody do it like me.
Yeah, but if you don't,
Doug, it's like this. Some people have the mindset when they teach. Some things are going to be the same. They got the same philosophy for certain poses or certain transitions or whatever. But I think you have more of a mindset where, dealing with the person who you actually dealing with, that's where a pose can change or be a little bit different. From
depending on the body, depending on how they look. Yeah. Well, let's do it. I'm ready.
You guys need to come up with a strategy, because you guys can't just both do it at the same time. So you guys got to know who is saying
first half, or have them do first half, second half.
No. We got it.
Okay.
See, he's the model because I can't move like I used to. I'm like Michael Jackson. My leg don't kick up as high.
I still can do it.
My movement's not the same, but
Chris, can you do the lunge?
Melvin still got the agility.
I still can do it. You just tell me to do it and I'll do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Chris Cormier is, I done stole everything else from you.
Hey, Chris, can you do the lunging poses now? Like,
yeah. I got 2 in me. That's it.
You go side to side.
Yeah, I go one down, one back up to the other side. That's it.
When we're finally able to go to Australia,
I can walk it like a target.
Yeah, we got to do something in Australia, man, because I know Chris can't wait to get back.
When we go to Australia, man, look, we can't go to Melbourne. I ain't Tony, man got prehistoric animals off over there. Don't tell me that.
Oi, let's go.
Bats carrying on. I don't want to go over there no more.
No?
Hell no, man. Them bats scared the hell out of me. Tony's like, I said, look at those birds. Nice, a whole lot of them.
There's other shit in Australia that scare me way more than birds.
Yeah, them damn bats was getting on me.
Little itty bitty spiders scared the shit.
Yeah.
We got everything here can kill you. Don't worry about that. But the most frightened I've ever seen you guys is when I let off the fireworks the first time on stage.
Shit.
I warned you all. I said, I'm going to blow the stage up. Oh, yeah, who's this idiot? And I'm like, the biggest, baddest bodies in the world are back. and fucking kaboom, off she goes.
So question
Melvin,
for you, Tony.
You ran on
Question-
stage.
Question
Like
for you,
what-
Tony.
Yeah.
Are you planning on doing another Grand Prix?
You know what? Last time I was on your show, you planted the seed. And I did my questions on Instagram last night. I got an answer today. And the first 3 were, hey, we're going to have Australian Pro again. So I think I'm going to be in recovery mode, like we talked about through 2023, just getting back on my feet. But 2024, I think I'd love to do that, just go back to the basics of bringing, we're giving the Australian guys 3 or 4 really good young pros here to give them a chance to stand up to 10 of the up and coming guys, and I'm sure we could make it work. So let's plan for 2024, and I'll talk to Jim and see if we can get something on track. That'd be a whole lot of fun.
It'd be nice
That'd
to
be
have him back in Australia.
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah,
Give
man,
us an all-star seminar before then. So let's work on that.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Come on, Chris.
All right. So you
Be
guys
like
know what
old
to
times,
do.
bro.
Chris and Melvin gonna hook up. Me and Milos, we're gonna sit back and watch. Make sure you guys do it right.
Get the popcorn and the donuts.
Yeah, Milo's got to
The
send me his
donuts.
best guy.
And we're gonna
Dennis, bring me
report,
one of them donuts.
and then we're gonna report to Tony and see if it worked.
Bring me
Let
one
me
of those
give you an update. Hey, let me give you an update here. It was I'll talk Fahrenheit for you guys. It was 100 degrees here yesterday, and it didn't get below 80 all night.
Good.
Oh my
Lord.
God.
6:30 in the morning here, and it's already 85 degrees.
Yeah, but you know what? Tomorrow it could be fucking 50.
It's gonna be. I can't wait.
50 degrees. Wow.
Melbourne is the fucking worst weather in the world, man. It could be super hot today and shitty cold tomorrow.
4
Yeah.
seasons a day.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Yeah. All right, guys. Man, listen, I appreciate you all, Tony. Thank you for getting up early again. You
Yeah,
know,
that was easy today. I was ready.
Melvin, thank you, my brother.
Always a pleasure.
Make sure you stay on it.
Guys, see you, Tom.
Milos,
All right, guys.
I'll
Yeah,
be in
hit
touch,
me.
brother. I'm gonna put it together.
I'm waiting for you, man. I'm calling you after this podcast.
All right, you guys be safe, okay?
It happened.
All right, man. Love y'all.
Love you guys.